You've been there. I know you have. You're trying to be healthy. You're at the grocery store, or maybe the gas station, and you grab one of these. It says keto, low net carbs, and best of all, high fiber. Maybe 15 or 20 grams packed into this little brick. Welcome to Levitas. You eat it, thinking you've just done your body a massive favor. But an hour later, disaster. You feel bloated. You look 6 months pregnant. You have gas that could clear a room. And you're wondering, I thought fiber was supposed to be good for my digestion. Here is the truth that food marketing doesn't want you to know. Not all fiber is created equal. There is a massive biological difference between the fiber found in a stalk of broccoli and the functional fiber pumped into processed foods. Today, we are going to dismantle the fake fiber trap, why a zero-fiber diet actually fixes gut issues, and how to spot the difference between a food that heals your metabolism and one that just inflames it. Please like the video and comment. This is a beautiful way to help the channel with the algorithm. So let's get technical for a moment, but keep it simple. What exactly is going on with these high-fiber processed snacks? If you turn that package over, you're usually going to see ingredients like Inulin, Chicory Root fiber, tapioca fiber, or soluble corn fiber. These are what we call isolated or functional fibers. Now, in nature, fiber is part of a complex matrix. It's the cell wall of a plant. It's locked in with water, vitamins, and minerals. When you eat a piece of fruit or a vegetable, that fiber is intrinsic. It's structurally sound. It travels down to your gut and is fermented slowly. But functional fiber? It's extracted. It's isolated. It's basically a concentrated powder. When you dump 20 grams of this isolated powder into your gut all at once, your microbiome, the bacteria living in your intestines, reacts differently. Think of it like a campfire. Real food fiber is like a big log. It burns slow and steady, providing consistent heat or energy to your bacteria over time. Isolated fiber is like throwing a bucket of sawdust on the fire. It flares up instantly. That flare-up? That's rapid fermentation. And the byproduct of rapid fermentation is gas, hydrogen, methane, and carbon dioxide. That is the pressure you feel in your lower abdomen after eating that healthy cookie. A study published in the Journal of the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics back in 2010 showed clearly that while inulin can increase good bacteria, high doses commonly result in significant gastrointestinal distress, bloating, flatulence, and rumbling. We've known this for over a decade, yet companies keep pumping it in because it looks good on the label. Now, does this mean fiber is bad? Absolutely not. But we have to understand the two main players, soluble and insoluble fiber. Because they have very different jobs, and your body needs a balance of both. I like to use the analogy of the sponge and the broom. Soluble fiber is the sponge. This is found in psyllium, organic oats, beans, apples, and blueberries. When it hits water in your stomach, it turns into a gel. This gel implies two amazing things. First, it slows down digestion, keeping you full. Second, it grabs onto cholesterol particles and carries them out of the body. If you are looking at your lipid panel and trying to manage cholesterol naturally, soluble fiber is your best friend. Then, we have insoluble fiber. This is the broom. This is the roughage found in kale, whole grains, nuts, and the skins of fruits. It doesn't dissolve. It adds bulk to your stool and physically sweeps things through your digestive tract. The problem with the fake fiber bars is that they are almost exclusively high-dose soluble fiber without the structure. You get the fermentation without the movement. It's a recipe for stagnation and bloating. Now, I want to address something controversial, but very important. Something that confuses a lot of my patients. I have patients who come in with severe IBS, SIBO, or small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, and Crohn's disease. They are in pain every single day. And sometimes, the best clinical intervention for them, temporarily, is to remove fiber entirely. You might have heard of the carnivore diet, or in medical terms, a low-residue diet. How is it possible that someone eats nothing but meat and eggs, zero fiber, and their digestion becomes perfect? Here is the nuance that the internet usually misses. If you broke your leg, would you go for a run to strengthen it? No. You would put it in a cast and let it rest. If your gut lining is inflamed, yesium, ulcerated, or if you have bacteria growing in the wrong place, like in SIBO, fiber isn't healthy. Fiber is abrasive. Fiber is food for bacteria. If you feed the bacteria where they shouldn't be, you create a war zone in your intestines. Removing fiber temporarily acts like a cast for the gut. It reduces the volume of stool and starves the overgrown bacteria. It gives the lining a chance to seal up. However, and this is a big however, for the vast majority of people who do not have severe gut pathology, long-term fiber restriction isn't the goal. Why? Because of the microbiome. The gut fuel. Your gut bacteria are living organisms. They need to eat, and their favorite food is prebiotic fiber. When your good bacteria eat real fiber, like from an artichoke or asparagus, they produce something called short-chain fatty acids, specifically one called butyrate. Butyrate is magic. It is the fuel source for the cells of your colon. It lowers inflammation, it strengthens the gut barrier to prevent leaky gut, and it even communicates with your brain to lower anxiety. When you rely on fake fiber, you feed specific strains of bacteria that love simple sugars and processed starches, often leading to dysbiosis, an imbalance. And here is the kicker. These bacteria can manipulate your behavior. If you feed the bad bacteria with processed fibers and sugars, they send chemical signals to your brain demanding more of that food. Those intense cravings you feel, that might not be you. That's your microbiome screaming for its preferred fuel source. So we know we want real fiber. But how does fiber actually help us with weight management and insulin? This brings us to the clothing carbs theory. When you eat a naked carbohydrate, like sugar, bread, or juice, it hits your bloodstream instantly. Your glucose spikes and your insulin spikes too. Insulin is your storage hormone. When insulin is high, fat burning is shut off. But when you eat that carbohydrate clothed in fiber, like eating the orange instead of drinking orange juice, the fiber creates a physical mesh in your stomach. This mesh slows down the enzymes that break down starch. It slows down the emptying of the stomach. Instead of a glucose spike, you get a gentle glucose curve. This blunts the insulin response. Lower insulin means you stay in fat-burning mode longer, and you don't get that energy crash 2 hours later. This is why counting calories doesn't tell the whole story. 100 calories of orange juice affects your hormones completely differently than 100 calories of an actual orange. The difference is the fiber matrix. So, we've covered a lot. We know fake fiber causes bloating. We know real fiber feeds the good bacteria and blunts insulin. But how do you apply this when you're shopping? I want to give you a tool I use with my patients. It's called the fiber-to-carb ratio. When you are looking at a packaged food, crackers, bread, or cereals, look at the total carbohydrates and the dietary fiber. You want a ratio of at least 10 to 1. That means for every 10 grams of carbohydrates, there should be at least 1 gram of fiber. This mimics the ratio found in whole foods. If you see 30 grams of carbs and 1 gram of fiber, that is a sugar bomb. Put it back. But, and this is my favorite hack, if you really want to optimize for fat loss and metabolic health, aim for a 5-to-1 ratio. For every 5 grams of carbs, 1 gram of fiber. That is the gold standard. But, crucial note, check the ingredient list. If that fiber number is high, but the ingredients list Inulin or chicory root as the second ingredient, proceed with caution. That is the fake fiber trap we talked about at the start. You might hit the ratio, but you might also pay for it with bloating. Here is the doctor's verdict. Transitioning to a high-fiber diet is a journey. If you currently eat a low-fiber diet and you suddenly decide to eat 5 cups of broccoli tomorrow, you are going to be miserable. Your microbiome needs time to adapt. It's like weightlifting. You don't start with a 300-pound squat. You start light. Start by adding 1 serving of real, cellular fiber a day. Psyllium, berries, avocado, leafy greens. Drink plenty of water. Remember the sponge analogy? Fiber needs water to work. Without water, fiber creates a traffic jam. And please, be kind to yourself. If you have severe gut issues, don't force-feed yourself roughage because a guru told you to. Listen to your body. If you need to back off and eat lower residue foods while your gut heals, that is valid. Health is about tuning into your physiology, not following a rigid dogma. And to summarize, beware of functional fibers and protein bars. They are often gas-producing powders, not real food. Use the 10-to-1, or even better, the 5-to-1 carb-to-fiber ratio to spot truly healthy foods. Remember that real fiber clothes your carbs, blunts insulin, and feeds the bacteria that protect your brain and gut. Your gut is the center of your health. Treat it with respect, feed it real food, and it will take care of you. Watch this video suggestion. It was especially picked for you. Also share, comment, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit the bell icon. It helps a ton with the algorithm. Remain tuned for future videos to empower your health and fitness journey. So, stay healthy, stay happy, and keep going.